Samir Hafez is a former coordinator for the Syria Turkmen Council. He joins me now in the studio. Good to speak to you again. So we spoke about the Turkmen's plight in northern Iraq last time, but they also face problems across the border in Syria, don't they?
Of course. But what I would like to add something more, because I just have seen you talking about Idlib. I just arrived from Idlib 2 days ago, and I was inside Syria. And we spent a few days over there. We have our conference for the first time since 7 years as a conference to have our own civil work inside Syria with a parliament and a cabinet too. So we established this for the first time into Syria and without any other offshore supporters or anything. It was only supported by the local places, and we were even sleeping on the ground. And we were sleeping on the streets too. There was 2 blankets for 3 days. So it was about 425 representatives from all around Syria, even about 35 representative of the tribes too, Syrian Arabic tribes too. And I was as a Turkmen, Syrian and Turk too. So I was from the Syrian Turkmen side, presenting the Turkmens inside. So we have our now establishing it, which is something that just came from 2 days ago, and we passed Cilve Gözü to Bab el Hawa walking, and then we were so excited. If you are asking me about the Turkmen situation in Syria, you should know that in Syria, the Turkmens, we are in separated provinces. About 3.5 million Turkmens in Syria, mostly in Homs, and a lot of in Aleppo. Then we have the Bayr Bujak, which is northern of Latakia, which is a very important point because any invasion of the PYD with PKK going to the west of Syria, trying to cross Idlib, arriving to the Mediterranean Sea, they should be passing by the Turkmen provinces, which are called Bayr and Bujak. So we are now there. We are the point over there, stopping everything from any invasion. Now.
And how much are they affected by the terrorist groups over there?
Interesting. Well, there's a difference between Jarablus and Baath. There was ISIL. Well, and after the Efret shield being there, so the ISIS was kicked out, frankly, outside. But about our province, which is Bayr and Bujak, in 3 years ago, the ISIS tried to come to our mountains, and with a very great support of Turkey, we conquered them, and they left, and there is no other sites, other groups, but our only Turkmen groups, which is protecting our mountains, which is Bayr and Bujak. So we are really very much affected. We lost our villages. In Latakia, we have about 72 villages, Turkmen villages. Now we only have 4 or 5, but all evacuated from its residence. So we have 0 in our point, all being lost. Why? Until the arrival of the invasion of the Russian 2 years ago, we were in a very good position. We were protecting all our provinces, and we were very close to or even conquer Latakia. And in that time, when they came and they became with a huge bombing, so we stopped, and now we are losing. So we lost our villages, all our people, some of them still with the regime, inside the regime, because they are very close to Latakia city, and mostly we all moved, and we are all moved and living in camps into Turkey. So we are very much affected. We lost our land, we lost our houses, we lost almost thousands of martyrs too, from all sides from Turkey. Besides, if we're talking about the Turkmens too, we have a very, nobody knows that almost 60% is Turkish. Is Turkmens. And most of them, now they left and immigrated or being forced to go. They are in Lebanon, some in Turkey, and we have, I'm contacting about 2,500 families in very bad conditions in Lebanon, all Turkmens there. So we are talking about the situation of Turkmens, it is really a disaster for us.
So looking at the whole picture, because it is complicated to understand. So if this, we were talking about the referendum in northern Iraq, of course there are Turkmens in Syria and in Iraq, but if this referendum goes ahead in northern Iraq, we know that that would mean for the PKK terrorist group to move freely. Does that include also the YPG, PYD, and including Syria in that whole as a picture?
This is what we are fearing, of course, because what is now going, if this referendum goes on in northern of Iraq, there will be the dominant of PKK, PYD, and as it happened in northern part of Syria. So in this case, it means that there could be a threat beginning from Erbil, ending in near Idlib. And this is a very important thing. This is why Turkey is very much concerned about being inside, protecting these sites from these groups in general. So it is very important that we should protect all these parts, because this will be creating a very critical situation. Imagine, there is 925 kilometers between Syria and Turkey, plus we have about 400 and more kilometers on the side of Iraq. So it is only 700 kilometers now with PKK and PYD. And we have this big, huge trucking of weaponry and heavy weaponry and heavy trucks and all those coming by 3,000 or about maybe it's coming to be 3,500 trucks of weaponry coming to the north of Syria will be creating a very serious situation, because with these artillery, whom should they are going to fire? ISIS never had a tank or never had a helicopter or even an airplane. So this will be creating a very big threat, not to the ISIS only, it will be a threat for Turkey too, from the southern part of Turkey and northern part of Syria, which is very dangerous and very critical position for them.
And what about Turkey's move now that the session is underway in the parliament, the extraordinary session, to take measures, maybe even military intervention? How do Turkmens feel about it?
Well, of course, it will be a kind of the Turkmens, for us, it will be a very big protection. Because really we have lost everything, and now in this case, in any kind of Turkey's movement against what's going to be only in Erbil, it will be affecting all the northern part of Syria and Iraq too. So the Turkmens in this side, we will be in safe side more, because we will be more protected by the Turkish army and the Turkish, of course, authorities too, which is very important for us. It's a kind of survival, because we lost almost everything. We lost over 40,000 young martyrs only from Turkmens.
And just very briefly, do you think it will be necessary?
To me personally, I think yes.
Thank you very much for that, Samir Hafez here in the studio with us.
Welcome.